Any of you people out there that find humor in this, you're really a sick, vapid person. You got no soul. You think it's funny? This is a sick society. This has gone beyond the pale. You people should be ashamed of yourself.
All right, welcome to another episode of Frank Stallone. Who is this guy? The podcast where me and my co-host Doug, we explore the world of Frank Stallone, and we're trying to figure out, Doug, once and for all, who is Frank Stallone? Who is this guy?
Hopefully today we find out. I've been doing this now a couple of months now with you, and we still haven't found out yet. Hopefully today might be the day we find out.
It just might be the day we find out. We got a really special episode. It's going to be action-packed. I haven't looked at his Instagram in a month and a bit. I haven't been following him on X or anything because this podcast fell into our laps. We had a secret source deliver this podcast to us, an insider, as one might say. I had no idea, like most of the world, I had no idea that this podcast had Frank Stallone and trainer Alex together in the same studio of the Tommy, what's the name of the show again?
Denos?
The Tommy Denos show. So we'll get into that. But yeah, they were podcast guests. So anytime Frank Stallone does a podcast, we drop everything, Doug. Instagram gets dropped because there's just too much stuff in the podcast.
Yeah, and you know the saddest thing about the Instagram is some of his best things are on his Instagram stories and they disappear after 24 hours. So they're quick hits. You know, we can't podcast every day. God save us.
It's been a while. It's been about a month since we did our last episode. And we did say this is going to probably be more or less a monthly episode. One, because of our work schedules and life schedules. Doug's very busy with work and babies and kids. And I have kids too, but no babies and work. So it's just hard to correlate our times. And also, I don't know if the world can handle a weekly, Frank.
I didn't think there was enough Frank to have a weekly podcast, but boy, would I have been wrong. Once a month, I think is good. You know, we get
at least
at least once a month. We sprinkle it in, satiate everybody's hunger, and then we move on.
Yeah, in fact, this episode is going to be so action-packed and full of information, and to try to discover who Frank Stallone is, that we don't even have the Coffee King. There's no Coffee King endorsement on this episode. I'm sorry. I know people really enjoyed that segment last episode, but there is no Coffee King. I don't have time for him.
That's a shame because we did a good 30-40 minutes on him last time.
Let us know, folks, how you're enjoying your Coffee King coffee. Oh, Coffee Boss, whatever. Was he the Coffee King or Boss? I don't remember. Whatever moniker he gave.
How memorable he was.
Okay, well, we did get a review on our last episode on YouTube, and I always like the YouTube comments. And there has been one person who's been spamming our Frank Stallone YouTube, basically defending Frank Stallone, which is fine. You have every right to defend Frank. And I want to make this clear. We're not attacking Frank. I don't know where people are getting the assumption or insinuation of, have we attacked Frank?
I mean, outside of calling him a buffoon or something like that, we take the piss out of him. Mockery is the highest form of flattery, they say.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're an A-list celebrity like Frank Stallone, you have to be used to the barbs. I mean, look at Beyonce and Taylor Swift. I mean, those poor, you just go check out any of their Facebook posts or Twitter feeds and the hate those gals get. So when you're an A-list celebrity like Frank and Taylor Swift, you're going to get some hate from the people.
I haven't seen any comments. I haven't read any of these. If I were to guess, people that would criticize us for doing this podcast would say, we've done nothing with our lives. Look at how much Frank has done. We're just two guys sitting in our mom's basement podcasting about somebody far more successful than we are.
Absolutely true. You hit the nail on the head. That's absolutely true. We have done nothing with our lives. You're absolutely true. But we did get a great comment. From Tom. He said, this podcast deserves significantly more appreciation and respect. Legendary broadcasting chaps.
Wow.
Yeah. 4 upvotes. So people actually agreed with Tom.
No kidding. Not a hint of sarcasm in there?
I hope not. I'll take it.
All right.
I'll take it. Somebody wrote underneath of that, Villainy Outsider wrote facts. So there you go. You got some agreement. Yeah, okay. I know. We got 2 fans.
Man.
Or maybe even more than 2 fans because 4 people liked his comment. So there you go. Okay.
Some high praise. Thank you, Tom and the facts guy.
Here we go. We got a lot to do. So Frank Stallone was a guest with Alex, his personal trainer and his paid-for friend, on the Tommy What's the last name there? How do you say it?
Denos.
The Tommy Denos Show. Have you ever heard of this great podcast before?
No. He seems like a legit podcaster, very well spoken.
He didn't give us any material. Did he give you any material?
No.
I know.
He was a straight shooter, man. He was
he was fine. He was serviceable. He asked questions, was kind to the guests. He did ask a couple little questions that moved the story along, so to speak. So I appreciate Tommy. No disrespect to Tommy at all. So here we go. Just so our listeners know, this was like an hour and a half interview. So I told Doug, look, I'm not going to subject you to an hour and a half of listening to this. And I didn't want to subject myself. We're just going to do that to our listeners. What I told Doug was, you take the last 45 minutes and find clips. I'll take the first 45 minutes. Doug hasn't heard the first half. I haven't heard the second half. So Doug, you're going to kind of react or respond in real time to what I have to share for you, and vice versa. You're going to do that for me. So just so our listeners understand, that's how the engagement is going to work so people don't like, why does Doug not know what's being said or vice versa? Okay. So I've got this, what I titled the Alex and Frank origin story.
Well, I met Alex through a friend of mine named Mike. And so we just kind of started talking. Then when I started coming back in the gym to train, he says, see, when I grew up, they didn't have so-called trainers.
Right.
Just had training partners, people that like two guys who wanted to go gym and they work out on the same thing. Because it wasn't when I started training, it wasn't a big business. I mean, I think Mr. Olympia in 1970 won like $700.
I love the Alex and Frank origin story. He's like, I met Alex through Mike. I think it was Mike Torchia. Remember we did that podcast episode on Mike Torchia?
Yeah.
And for our audio listeners, you don't see this, but for our YouTube people, you can see this. Alex is looking at Frank like he's in love.
Yeah. The whole time Frank is talking, he's got this stupid grin on his face.
The Alex and Frank origin story is very quick because he just starts segueing right away. Yeah, I met this guy through Mike, and back when I used to work out, we didn't have trainers. We just had workout partners. Then I met Alex.
The more I get to know the ins and outs of Frank, the more I learn that he is so hung up on the old days and how things used to be. It's remarkable. It really is.
That's actually a sad way to live.
It is.
Because, Doug, we're living now. It's okay to have fond memories of my past. I have fond memories of my youth and childhood. But guess what? I actually really like my life right now. I'm glad to be alive now, and I have a wonderful family, children, parents, and all this stuff. Embrace today, too, because today will be the olden days one day.
Right. Stop living in the past.
Frank will now tell us, Doug, why he got into bodybuilding. Do you have any guesses? You haven't heard this. Do you have any guesses why he got into bodybuilding?
Bodybuilders of old. Jack LaLanne or,
Steve Reeves or
whatever. Somebody like that. Some old school bodybuilder.
Well, that's a good guess as to why he got into bodybuilding. Let's hear his answer.
The first reason why you went to the gym to start training had to do with the young lady. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I was 20 years old. I was living in New York, and I was playing at a place called the Summer House. Little restaurant. I was playing guitar. I was a kid. Never had really a girlfriend or anything. All of a sudden, there was a waitress working there, and she was so beautiful, blonde, and she was from California, which in those days, that was like another planet to me. Yeah. She was the perfect California girl. I thought she really liked me, but nothing ever came of it. I mean, we just walked around a few times as friends. But I guess when I wanted to maybe promote it, it just broke my heart. And my brother said, "Well, you got to start working out," And I was always pretty thin, but I just got into it.
Yeah.
It just, sometimes you need a motivation. Some of these bodybuilders that you see were either fat kids or skinny kids or insecure kids or got picked on. So there's always a motivation for it,
It's okay. How long does it take to become a fat or skinny kid to become in shape, body? This girl waits 6 months to a year, and Frank doesn't even talk about how he came back. I just love how he's saying like, this girl wasn't interested in me because I wasn't a Herculean type body.
Was he saying that he was fat or just like not
skinny? He said he was skinny.
He did. All right. So you see how I checked out early on that one?
Sorry. Yeah.
The one girl is what makes you decide to change your life. It's not about going back and getting that girl. It's going and getting all the other girls after you get into shape. Yeah. That one girl is the one that just shamed you enough to decide to change your life.
I love how he mentioned that he walked around with her. So like, you could tell he was getting friend zoned and jerked around for quite a while. But his brother Sly is like, well, you got to work out. You got to work out. We've said this before. He takes care of himself. He looks great for 74. There's no issues there. But their obsession throughout this episode and obviously other podcast episodes, their obsession with their bodies, it's a little much. Relax. Eat healthy. take care of yourself, have a good personality, be a nice person, and you also might just find girls or guys or whatever you're into. But their obsession with the body it's hilarious.
It was, yeah. So it took a girl with a broken heart to get you.
So yeah, he just tagged what you said there, Doug. You didn't know he said that. Did you know he said that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you and Frank are on the same page. He says it took he got his heart broken by that girl. He was really sweet on that waitress, and his heart got broken. So he said it took a broken heart to get motivated. There you go.
The one that got away.
The one that got away. Yeah, boy, she must be kicking herself now, eh?
And after all his hits, he still remembers her.
Oh yeah, she's the one that got away for sure. Here we go. We got a little bit of shaming coming on here.
Motivated by other things, may think, but a lot of guys bank too much on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then their vanity takes over. You don't have to be the biggest guy. You just want to be fit. We've seen girls that go to the gym, and guys, for 5 years, their body has not changed one iota in 5 years.
This is a major
no
problem,
gains, no muscle, no thin, because they still eat like crap.
Eating like
Okay. Now, I'm not saying he's wrong.
He's
Okay,
not wrong.
But this is my defense on those poor people. You're the fitness expert. I'm not. I'm really not. I jog. I try to eat okay. Do a little bit of lightweight work. Very light. Nothing compared to you, Doug. Big gun Doug over here. Maybe you're a big boy. But what I'm getting at is it still not better to eat a bag of Doritos and do weights than eat a bag of Doritos and not do weights? Which one is better?
Yeah, at least they're doing something physical.
Right.
I don't shame people. He's not wrong. At least they're doing something active, because too many people can't
Give
find
up.
the motivation
I would almost argue breaking even and not changing is better than falling apart completely.
Yeah, for sure. In a way, counterproductive, because they say you can't outwork a bad diet.
Right.
So
that's a fair statement.
Yeah. So, the calories, you're still adding on the calories, even though you're working out, but it's still better than just sitting on the couch eating Doritos and not doing anything active.
Exactly. Well, and I say that because a lot of people, as you know, especially with the New Year's coming, I don't know when this episode is dropping, fairly new in the new year. People often at this time of year, New Year's resolutions, they're thinking, okay, we're going to get better healthy. All I'm saying is people will give up. I had a bag of Doritos, or I had a bowl of ice creams, so now I'm just going to give up and not do anything. No, it's okay. I still would think it's better to eat a bowl of ice cream and go for a run than eat a bowl of ice cream and say, well, I'm never going to exercise, because there's no point in having a bad diet and exercising. So I'm just going to keep up the bad diet.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You can't deny yourself life's pleasures either, because that's
right.
Going to make the diet or whatever, unless you plan on entering a bodybuilding or Miss
America
competition or something. You don't need to be 3% fat.
All right, so Frank now talks about some of his health issues. We get some insight on that.
They've worked out with 20-pound dumbbells for 5 years.
Yeah.
I said, why don't you try like 30?
Yeah.
I made say, why don't you
25 or
25.
something, right?
You have to shock the muscle a little bit for a build. I've had some physical.
Again, Frank, I understand what he's saying, but some people are just, again, happy to move their arms. Like I jog all the time, Doug. I'll use my jogging example, but I actually jog the same speed, the same distance every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can I push myself faster and harder? Can I go slower too? Yes. I have a pace. It feels good. I have a sweat. I'm done. I do my 45-minute jog. It's about 5 miles a day. And
it's
good.
what works for you.
Yeah.
People, they'll join a gym and not really study up on like how do you build muscle? You know what I mean? Taking the muscle to its max and then past failure and all that other stuff is all like muscle building theories and everything. Not everybody knows that. So they'll work out with the 20-pound weights. They'll do their 10 reps and then that's that. Not everybody's as educated is what I'm saying.
I don't like people like this in the sense of, because you have knowledge on something and somebody else does, this whole like the looking down on. I hate it. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm nearing 50 this year. I turned 50 in 2025. And I admit, as I get older, I'm getting less and less tolerant of people who look down on people. Just relax. Not everyone has to know what you know when you know it.
Right. And you know what I certainly don't do when I go to the gym? Look around and judge people for what they're doing. When I go to the gym, I focus on what I'm doing and I get the hell out of there.
Weird. You're just worried about you, dude. He takes stock of people. You've been coming here for 5 years, and you have some sort of chart that he keeps. There's Bobby, there's Sue. I've noticed in the last 5 years. Does he weigh people when they come in and out?
Look, Frank, we all can agree that you're not the top of on the celebrity food chain.
How dare you?
However, you are probably bigger than you should be looking around the gym judging other people. Focus
or at
on
least-
yourself.
And don't advertise it on this nationally networked podcast here. Yeah, here's some health issues.
Setbacks the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
I had a form of fibrosis. I don't have it now, but I'm just coughing because I probably caught something. And then I had some back surgery problems, and I was off.
And he's still like,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna come back. I'm like, okay, take it easy. He's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm ready. It's okay,
I had
let's
a
go.
fusion.
So just to translate for Alex there, he was just saying, and if Frank's still going to the gym, that's what.
We do need an Alex translator. What
You know.
nationality is Alex, do you think? It's kind of Middle Eastern?
I think we brought it up in a previous Frank Stallone episode. I can't remember now. His family did come to the U.S. legally, I believe. Don't kick him out, Doug. He's legally here. Okay.
Jeez.
Trump's watching this episode. Don't kick him out. Frank does cough throughout this episode. I don't know if he coughed on your half. There's a lot
He
of.
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope he's okay. All right. There's a Sly mention coming up here. I just wrote Sly ? I don't remember why now. Here we go.
I mean, just things get worn out. But I find when I go there, we can tell the guys that are on juice there. I mean, it's they're too separated. They're purple. They're veiny.
Yeah.
And that's not a healthy life. They're going to pay for.
That's why I wrote Sly. Is he talking about his brother?
Yeah.
They're gonna pay for it later. The chest separation. What's he talking about? Is that what steroids do, Doug? The chest separation. What does he mean by that?
Well,
the separation, the purple.
Guys that are on steroids and have very low body fat, like you can see the separation of the muscle fibers themselves.
Oh, I see.
I mean, it's impressive from a aesthetics standpoint, but
Sure.
you could tell who's on steroids.
You think Sly's ever been on the roid?
Yes. I'm not at fear of getting sued. I think there's plenty of evidence out there that he was.
That is your unprofessional observation. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
sure. Here we go. Some more fat shaming of his fellow actors. Here we go.
But it's really funny. There's some actors in this business that are big stars. They are in such bad shape. I said, "How dare you take your shirt off in the scene?" Jeez.
Wow.
How dare you take your shirt off for this scene?
How is he big timing movie stars? I imagine there are scenes where Chris Farley takes his shirt off. The fatness of it is meant to be part of the scene, part of the funny,
But even-
Recently,
I watched a show where a young actor, he's probably in his 20s, he took off his shirt for a locker room scene. I would admit, like, there's no definition to him. I was aware of it mentally, but at the same time, I didn't yell at the screen, "How dare you! How dare you look human!" There's times when I watch, of course, TV shows. Let's say I'm watching a medical drama, the doctor. I love how all these other actors are always so ripped and fit. Like, come on, that's not actually normal. Like the
Right.
average doctor, the average lawyer, everyone's ripped.
right?
Like, what? That's
Right.
not normal either. Like, how many people do you know outside the gym, Doug, are just ripped people walking around ripped?
Very few.
Yeah. But I love how he just said, "How dare you?" I thought that was very brave of him.
That is fun.
Frank explained how he feels about being nude on film.
It's funny. I've done 81 movies, and I've never done a nude scene in my life. I've never done a naked love scene or any stuff like that.
And you still won't. You still won't.
No, I just kill people. That's my kind of thing.
I don't know many background actors that have nude scenes or love scenes.
I was just gonna say, I know it's like, hey Frank, you're fifth on the roll call, for this film. We need
Yeah.
you to make love to the main actress just for no apparent reason.
You know
Okay,
who gets
look,
those scenes, Frank? The people whose names are on the poster.
exactly like your brother.
Yes.
There wouldn't be a film in any universe that Frank was in where the call sheet would call for him to make love to his co-star in the film. That film would not be written for him. What is it going to be in a romantic comedy or an erotic thriller starring Frank Stallone? Like, there's just no universe this would happen. What is he talking about? It's not even offered to him.
He makes it sound like he's turned down that proposal.
Exactly. And I've only killed people. Like, he's some sort of, again, action star. He's some tough guy.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, you got killed in Tombstone, Frank, the big movie you're always you want to be your killer. You're the one that gets killed.
He really has a bloated sense of himself, doesn't he?
Oh, you think?
What an understatement.
So I wrote here, I did these notes a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, we had a delay. We had an earlier recording for. We're sorry. We meant to get this episode out earlier, like 2 weeks ago, but Doug bailed on me. So
And then you bailed on me, so you got me back.
that's right. I showed you. But you started it. Okay. Now I wrote here, Frank died on Mike. I forget why I wrote that. Let's see why I wrote that.
crazy. What
I think that was just it.
crazy? What crazy? What
Yeah. He has zero mic awareness in this too. He's always like covering his mouth when he talks or making these sounds into the microphone. Or he's leaning
Yeah.
way back in his chair like this.
Oh, I also want to point out, do you notice the cat lint on his shirt?
Yeah. Is that what that is? It's definitely not
Yeah,
dandruff.
Did he say that's cat lint and fluff that collects throughout the day? Again, I love how the lint and the cat lint that we can see on camera there, it's always right under where the hair is above his head
Mhm.
on his shirt. Is that weird that it seems to collect throughout the day where something would fall from that area would actually be on his shirt?
Right, like a snow cloud that hovers just over his head.
It's never on the shoulders or on the stomach. It's just
Or
on the,
sleeves.
neckline. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it's out on the sleeves. Alex doesn't have any of that lint on his shirt that I see. That's weird. Okay.
Hmm.
Just again, Frank wants to remind us that Sly didn't come out of nowhere.
But he did theater.
Mhm,
He took drama at the University of Miami, did off Broadway shows in New York. So it wasn't like, he came in this thing like one day some guy wrote the script and
Exactly.
go, "Hey, how you doing?" And people
Okay, so what he's doing here, I kind of caught it now. What he's doing here, because the Rocky story, the Rocky script, and the Rocky movie, it seemingly looked to the public, and rightfully so, because we don't know Stallone from a hole in the ground at that time. So Frank is again undermining his brother's success because this was a movie that hit the public embraced it, and the character has endured 50 years. Okay. He's just saying, well, Sly didn't just come out of nowhere. He went to drama. In a weird way, he's sort of complimenting Sly, but at the same time undermining his success by saying that he did work for it, that he was in theater, that he did drama classes, that he didn't just come out of nowhere.
Like he's saying that Sly's story isn't as sexy as
Yes,
it's been
that's the word.
promoted to seem.
Yeah, I like that. It's not as sexy. That's right. Frank gives us some education, or I called this Frank education.
I have no clue and I have no interest because I will never use it.
That's how I was with math.
Okay.
I was the same way.
All I need to know is add, subtract, divide, because I figure when in music I'm ever going to use algebra. Hey, that note, do a pi square on that with the isosceles triangle. No, I mean, it just to me it was just basic. I mean, if you can add, subtract, and multiply and divide, that's all you need.
So that's not how education works. That's the old age argument. We've all heard it. We all have the same shared experience in our education systems. Again, I know what he's saying, but I've always told my kids is that it's not necessarily education isn't just learning math the way you add, minus, subtract, whatever, or history. You're also disciplining your mind on how to figure out a problem.
Problem solving. That's
the biggest thing. And to feel stress, grit, mental grit. Brain's a muscle. I went to college, but university credit courses in college. And before I joined the military, and I thought, well, what a waste. I thought to myself at the time, because I stopped midway, got 2 years in. I joined the military because I needed an income. I had a young family, so I joined the military. But then I realized my study habits from college actually worked towards my military life. Like I was disciplined right away to study, learn, and take my courses. And where some of my counterparts who didn't go to school, I saw them struggle a little bit more because, I got to learn, I got to study. To me, it was just like I was already doing this. My brain or my habits were already formed.
Right. It's all about habit creating and problem solving and everything. This is an argument that goes back to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And probably even further. Like I'm never going to use math. Why do I have to take it in school? Why don't they teach house budgeting instead of algebra? We've been having this argument for 30 plus years. Like you're not breaking new ground here.
No. And he's right. The scientists, they should know that stuff. The doctor, eventually people will go into their specific fields, but you have to introduce math to young minds to know, hey, I want to be a scientist. I have a proclivity for calculus or algebra. I have to be introduced to this thing. So Frank, you were introduced the basics, found out it wasn't for you. You moved on. That's it. That's all it is. That's all you have to say. So, but you wouldn't know that math wasn't for you, as you say it, unless you were introduced math. That's the whole point, is people need to learn these basics so they can become the scientists. Science is actually needed, Frank, to create the guitars that you play on. That's science. Like you need to create the sound, an acoustic guitar. Like that's all physics and science. He doesn't understand that even just to build the machines to build your guitar took scientists and math and physics and geometry and all those things to build the machines to build your guitars.
Right. He doesn't see that. He just sees, oh, I don't need math to see what that note is.
No, you don't, but you need math to build the very guitar you're playing.
Yeah.
Math is actually in everything. Everything has an equation. The sound waves have an equation that our voices. It's weird. Of course, because Frank is a rock star, guess who else wants to be a rock star? Any guesses?
No. Who? Alex? Tom? Denos?
Yeah, you think about how does the Pythagorean theorem help you with
Nothing.
writing music?
Nothing.
Or bicep curls.
Yeah.
No,
really.
there's some.
Okay, again, the science. Science has told you how the muscles work, and science is math. I know what they're saying, but they're just wrong. All these equations of how the muscle, you talk about, muscle tearing and rebuilding, that's science. Like science will tell you how the muscles work, and every science has math.
Everything about the body and muscle building and hypertrophy is scientifically based. There's a major in college called exercise science. It's science. It's bottom line. Jesus.
Other stuff.
Well, the other stuff too, but
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying.
I see. So we was kind of honed in our own thing, myself with music, even though later I did do a lot of movies. And, but like my brother would probably love to have been more of a rock musician.
There you go. How could you not guess his brother?
I know, because his brother's jealous of everything that he does.
Yes.
Which is very telling because, like, it's projection, right?
It's projection 101. Because I love how he said, I started off in music, but I went on and did 81 films. Unlike my brother, who only does films. So I'm sure he would love to be a rock star instead.
I mean, we know he fancied himself a singer at times, which he failed miserably at. But, rock star, I think he was pretty comfortable acting in these leading man roles.
Oh, I think Sly's doing just fine with his 500 million net worth. Now, Frank does admit that he does indeed want to be a celebrity.
Everyone always wants to be something they're not at one point in their life.
There you go. He's still hoping. Here we go. He goes back to talking about nudity in film. And I called this back to no nude Frank.
There's certain things that are sacrosanct. I mean, you just don't. It's like me choosing not to take my clothes off running around in a movie naked.
Nobody's asking you to.
But he's still choosing not to. Thank you, Frank, for not disrobing unceremoniously on our film set. Like, everyone's just begging, Frank, please take your clothes off. No. I know everybody wants to see this body. Have you seen the reality show?
No.
Okay.
No.
There's a scene in season 2 where he comes out and exposes himself to his nieces in a Speedo. But he's not nude.
Well, nobody was asking him to at the time.
Especially not his nieces.
He paints a very unsettling picture, too, because, he's in good shape for a 74-year-old or whatever.
Yeah, 74.
But he's still 74. I can't imagine anybody is really pleasing to the eye with no clothes on at 74.
No, and that's why even Sly hasn't taken off his shirt since Bolt to the Head. That movie. That was his last shirtless movie. Yeah. Oh. There's a little bit more slut shaming.
Takes away the mystery. Mm-hmm. It's like when I see these guys out with these girls, I said, are you honestly serious? I mean, you would go out with her dressed like that?
Wow.
But listen to his reasons why you shouldn't do that.
Oh, man. The attention's not on you. You're just like the pawn.
Yeah.
Of course,
but the focus isn't on him. He's okay with it because it's a trophy. It's his, arm candy, whatever you want to call her.
Yeah.
And why is she dressing like that to grab attention? Because she's not really that interested in you.
Because she's hot. She's not interested in you. Can it be both? Every beautiful woman doesn't like their man? That's not possible.
No. They just like the attention.
Because I guarantee you that guy probably has money.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or a large penis, or both. But then he segues into his girlfriend. Do we have any pictures or anything of his girlfriend? He's brought it up a couple times. Okay, so now he's going to talk about his girlfriend. So his girlfriend is not like these other girls.
She's not into showing off her wares.
Well, she wants you to be happy with, with her, which obviously you are.
Yeah,
but just kind of how the mentality of the girls are when they're getting dressed and getting dolled up. They want, I think, your approval.
It's amazing. She can get all dolled up. Seriously, 15 minutes. She's just You know,
That's an anomaly.
She's a horse girl. She owns a big farm. I mean,
She's a horse girl. She owns a big farm. I'm not sure what that means.
I'm glad he elaborated. He said she's a horse girl. So many things went through my mind.
She's
She
a horse
owns
girl.
horses. Okay, all right.
She's a horse girl. I should have paused it there. I love how everything in Frank's life, his knowledge that he has about the world and his girl, everything's as it should be. You know, my girlfriend takes 15 minutes. She doesn't have to show off her assets, as he says.
Her wares.
Her wares, sorry. He does make a little bit of excuses again as to why he isn't successful.
you know, I've had so many ups and downs in my career. It would take 4 shows to talk about it.
Oh, we've done it in about 35 shows there, Frank.
Yeah, Frank, you give us enough nuggets of your personal life. It's like a big complicated puzzle.
I remember a guy saw my documentary. He goes, I'm surprised you're still here.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't offed yourself yet.
I know, what is he? Well, still where? Still like trying or still?
No, I think still alive.
Alive?
I think he's insinuating that you haven't knocked yourself off because you're Frank Stallone. Frank compared to Sly might seem like a quote unquote failure, but Frank compared to schlubs like me and you, he's doing fine.
Yeah.
That's what I mean about his world. He judges his whole world based on other people's success. That's a terrible way to live.
Right.
As well, like jumped off the Hollywood sign or like,
See?
Yeah.
He's actually saying, why haven't you killed yourself, Frank?
That's dark.
What a thing to say to somebody. Hey, your brother's really successful. You must hate your life.
Again, it's projecting. I don't think anybody said that to him. It's him saying like, you know, a lesser man would have killed himself by now, but not Frank.
Just like, remember Rocky in the movie Rocky where he says, Mickey tells Rocky in his apartment, I wasn't a successful boxer because of why?
Management.
No manager. Frank was the Mickey in Sly's life.
I had the same managers I'd grown up with. They were terrible. They just couldn't rise to the occasion. And if I was smarter then, as life, is what do they say? What's the thing? 2020.
Oh, hindsight's
2020.
Yeah.
I would have said, you know what, guys, I love you, but you can't get me to where I want to go.
Now, he might not be wrong that he had bad managers. He didn't have a good manager. Okay, you have your site now, Frank. So this is the problem that, I had bad management. I didn't have the right team around me, blah, blah, blah. Hindsight's 2020. When you say hindsight's 2020, that means you have the site now.
Right.
He always talks about the success, all the things you need to do. Throughout the show, they talk about the, things you need to do to succeed. But yet here he is. Well, now is it the management still, Frank, or is it you? And I'm not trying to be a dick here. I'm actually being kind of serious, saying at some point you just have to tap out and say, I'm 74 years old. I've had a fun life. Like my life's been okay. It's a pretty blessed life. Like his last 50 years of life, Doug, has been pretty blessed compared to the average person.
We all kind of have that hindsight, like saying if I could redo the last 20 years with the knowledge that I have right now, I would be a different person. I would be a lot more successful, blah, blah, blah. It's not like he's retired. He's still at it, right? He has that knowledge now. Why can't he make something more of himself now?
Does he have the answers or doesn't he have the answers? I guess what I'm saying is he's blaming his management in that part. He's saying at that time I didn't have the right management. Okay, but now what?
Right. You're not retired. He's still playing. He's still trying to make it.
He's still hoping, and it's kind of sad. He's still hoping to be discovered.
It's very easy to give up. It's hard to persevere, but you never know what's around the corner, do you?
There you go. You never know what's around the corner, do you? Meaning
success can be right around the corner.
He's still talking about what's around the corner, Doug.
Yeah. It's easy to give up, but you never know what's around. You could give up right before the big thing hits.
He's still hoping, Doug, to get discovered.
If you saw the early part of his career, he blames his manager for. Now it's all himself and him. Maybe it is right around the corner. He's holding on, man.
He tried the bourbon business, which they still have robbed me. They're ignoring me. There's no way to contact Frank's Bourbon. Now Wild Whiskey or whatever they're called now. I can't believe they can do that. I still can't believe a company can take your money and not deliver a product and not answer you. That's theft.
Yeah, that's theft. I don't know what the hell's going on. Didn't somebody send you a bottle? Can I drink my goddamn Frank's Bourbon?
Jack from the Drunk Bond podcast was going to send me his bottle from Florida, but it can't cross into Canada border via mail. I can hand carry alcohol across the border in my car and just claim it as a duty free or whatever, but you can't ship it.
Right. Okay. Oh wow, that sucks.
Yeah. If I get down to the States, I told Jack to send it to you because we're gonna meet up and then you can hand deliver it to me. It might be 2025.
That's okay.
Okay. A couple more clips and then I'm going to turn over to you. This clip here, he talks about Arnold Schwarzenegger and his successes. He mentions that Arnold became the governor, and I want you to tell me if you didn't know what or where Arnold Schwarzenegger became the governor of. So you're an alien from another planet, and you heard Frank tell you. So I want the audience to play along at home. I want you to tell me where Arnold was governor. Got it?
I'm going to try.
Okay.
Yeah. Pressure's on.
So
I think what Arnold said, one of the only few things he said that made sense was,
yes,
you can't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Frank must be a very brave person.
Hasn't stopped him yet.
No, he's very brave. Braver than me. This is what I love about Frank. He never gives up. Despite all these failures, he keeps going. Governor of where? That is the question, folks. Play at home. Governor of where?
I mean, you got to give the guy credit. He came here, couldn't speak the language. Yeah. Became one of the most famous bodybuilders. Then he became a huge movie star. Then he became the governor of York.
What? Did he say New York?
Well, he said York.
Yeah.
Not even New York. He just became the governor of York.
He lost confidence before he even started that sentence.
I think he forgot where he's like, oh, crap, what state was that again? And then he's like, I'll just say, bro. I love that. When I saw that, I was like, that is gold. Let me just go back just a bit more here.
He became a huge movie star. Then he became the governor of York.
Governor of York. And that's not a word. There was no beginning or end to that word.
I think it's actually Yor. It wasn't York. It was actually the governor of Yor. Is it Y-O-R-E?
The days of
Is that
Yor?
a word?
Is that days of Yor?
Days of Yor.
That means like the Middle Ages or something.
Remember when he was Conan? He was governor then. Wasn't he? Okay, and my last clip, I just called this one Everyone Talking at Once.
Oh, God, I hate this.
And you gotta,
and he had all that.
Yeah. He had.
I read his book.
Same as your brother.
Well, he changed. He changed.
Steve Reeves and Louis Ferrigno. I mean, Steve was definitely like when you look at
movies. But I mean, as far as TV in the 70s,
Steve Reeves. I mean, he was.
All right, I just love that. Everyone talking at once. Okay,
more of a visual gag here, but if Alex is talking and Frank is just sitting there picking his teeth and digging in the whole time Alex is talking. I've noticed this too on your clips. Frank is just breathing into the microphone. No mic awareness.
Okay, if we're talking about powder protein, I highly recommend, especially nowadays. I mean, it's not. It's a little bit expensive, but it's worth it.
Digging in there.
He was in there, but to hear the breathing too, he's like,
"Holy crap!" He was digging in there. That's my thumbnail.
Yeah,
that is my thumbnail. Holy cat. Boy, he was just digging for something. I don't know what's he got in there. Do you wonder what did he eat?
I know. There's something that he was saving. Frank talks about his snacks.
Oh, I'm looking for this. So the kind of snacks he likes to eat.
Yeah, healthy snacks.
But you know what I eat? I eat a lot of. I mean, I have in my car. They have packets of raw almonds. So I'm driving around, I get hungry. There's raw almonds, or I eat
raw almonds. I love every day. I eat raw
like organic prunes.
So no seasoned almonds with salt.
No.
Raw almonds. I think I told you that.
Yeah.
Raw almonds,
cashews, raw sunflower seeds.
And whole nuts and macadamia nuts, Brazilian nuts. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're really good.
They're more expensive.
But raw, everything raw.
This is another everyone talking at once clip too.
And he's just naming every type of nut under the sun. But keep playing because there's this planters nuts thing that he goes on.
Too. I love how dare not salted. How don't you throw salt in there? Everything's gotta be natural. The
raw
from the bush. You know, like literally they picked it out of the ground. They put it in my bag. You know, like their obsession. This is what I mean. Like I'm all for eating healthy, but I can't live my life. I can't be so concerned. Is there salt in the nut? What? At the end of the day, it's actually not what you eat; it's how much of anything, anyways. Too. It's just relax. Just relax, guys. Barbecue flavoring on it. Relax.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Don't get mixes. Just
Like you buy
yeah.
Planters peanuts. Who the hell knows what's in those?
Like a million grams
We
of
grew
sodium.
up with them. Like
We're just
Planters.
eating them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the little blue can your parents would
Yeah.
hi. Family
They're
come out of
not
the
bad.
can,
They're
yeah.
not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think
And then at the end of that, Alex goes, "Well, they're not that bad."
And why are your parents giving you Planters peanuts and saying hi? You see Frank's like, they give you a can of Planter peanuts. Hi. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for the peanuts. Weird obsession. Okay.
Yeah. Talk about Frank's stream of consciousness, how he hears something and he veers off.
Oh, now I also want to mention the water bottles. Did you notice the water bottles on the table though?
Mm-hmm.
They're always pointed out with the Melrose podcast. That's like a network, the Melrose podcast network.
Branding.
Yeah, branding. They got their own water. Man, we got to get that for the last of the Action Heroes podcast network. Our own water bottles. I don't think the budget has it. In fact, I spent my budget on the bourbon. The budget was blown on the bourbon purchase.
From Chicago, and his mom used to get the dates and put some egg white, and then that's where he
dates
got.
are actually good for you.
That's where he got the idea of.
It was just, him talking about this, this bar that his friend made or whatever, and he hears the word dates. Dates are really good for you.
Dynamite drop in money.
Yeah,
Dates
you're
are really
right.
good for you.
Frank, yeah, I know. He's like, yeah,
He just
dates are
hears
good.
a word and has to jump in.
I think he was picking nuts out of his teeth. I think that's with almonds. It was almonds in his teeth, Doug. It just occurred to me.
That's the snacks. Yeah.
This is the snack he had before he come into the studio to make sure he had some energy for the interview, and he was picking out some almonds, I think, out of his teeth there. Yeah, no salt on those.
No, you can't have salt. I don't know. My note says it's Greek, but it's not really Greek. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means, but
I know. I love it when I write the notes too. Like, why did I say that?
It's wonderful. As for Costa,
but they're Greeks.
the Greeks, it's great. I mean, everything is fantastic.
Yeah.
Really
Avra is
great
not
place.
really Greek. It's Greek, but it's not really Greek.
Yeah.
what is that? Is it Greek or not? It can't be both.
He's the authority. He's the authority. I love it. Frank's always this is the thing with Frank. He's that type of personality where it must be nice never being wrong.
Yeah, right.
Even when you're wrong, you're never wrong. So even when he had bad management, it was a bad management's fault. If a song didn't land, it was somebody else at the company. It's amazing to have a life full of failures, but never have it your fault. That's amazing.
It is amazing. And even if he's wrong about something, he has an excuse for why he thought that or why.
I'm kind of weird, Doug. Every failure I have in my life, I totally blame myself.
Yeah.
I'm kind of weird that way, I guess. I don't know. Like, yeah, I think that was me.
He has a Bruce Springsteen story before he was Bruce Springsteen, but it's his name was Bruce Springsteen. Okay, play it. It's a boring story and has no payoff, but
Bruce Springsteen, eh?
I'm enjoying this. You guys are good. We can keep going.
I'm enjoying this. We can keep going. Our audience is tapped out.
Yeah.
I want to kind of get off topic a little bit, but Frank, who was Bruce Springsteen?
Well, I was playing a club, 85th Street, called Kenny's.
You see the edit there? Look, I edit this show. People, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll notice that Doug and I'll edit this just for maybe the same reason. I'm not criticizing him, but in fact, I will say this to Tommy. That's what I mean. I think he actually tries to put legit effort into his show and quality. He's actually the first Frank Stallone guest podcast we've listened to where they've edited Frank. And Tommy, shame on you, because I think he's actually edited some stuff out that we can't.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Tommy has edited Frank because there was a jump there.
That was a clear jump, but really wish we had what he did.
I know. Can we get about? Hey, Tommy, can we get some? Can we get some? Again, Tommy, if you're watching this, you're not the problem. I've never heard Bruce Springsteen called Bruce Springsteen. I don't understand the reference. Let's see if Frank explains it.
Yeah.
Castaways. I played there a few times, and I saw one of those outside, one of those like white chalkboards, but they use a magic marker. Tonight, appearing Bruce Springsteen. Who the hell was this guy? No, you know what I mean? So I walked in, and this guy was still with that cowboy hat going, I go, Jesus Christ. So I went to the dressing room, and I was sitting there waiting for him to get off, and I'd come on. And all of a sudden, I heard this band, And I thought it was like he was done and they were just turning up the music. I thought it was like Van Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked out, it was his band. I'm there, holy shit. So I had to go out and follow that. But as an acoustic act.
Yeah.
So, but later he became Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen opened for me. That's like
I
the moral
know.
of this.
That's what I got that too. You're right. The subtle part of the story is that he followed Bruce. Thus, Bruce and his band opened for Frank at one point.
Exactly.
And I don't think he was ever referred to as Stein. They might have just spelt it wrong on the board.
Maybe that's what he was.
I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan. I've been a fan since 83, 84, only 40 years. So I don't know if he just read the sign wrong or they wrote it wrong but Bruce was playing like the Hammersmith in the UK in 75. So I don't know what he's talking about. I'm a little confused by the timeline. Bruce was never really that small ever.
No.
Very long.
And
especially in New Jersey and stuff, he was a local.
He was a legend here.
Yeah.
For a long time, even before he hit big.
I can't imagine Bruce played before Frank. I
don't know.
All right. I could be wrong. All right. What do you got next, sir?
He talks a lot about old exercises, weightlifting again, back to the weightlifting.
Yeah. I've been missing that. I want to know how to do it properly. Okay.
Oh, he'll show you.
Yeah. But the thing is, this was funny. It's like sometimes I'll come up with these old exercises that all of a sudden some of the old guys go, there you go.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do that. But I look at some of the stuff that worked for some of my famous bodybuilders, you know.
We started in old school. I remember we started in old school. Now you call it old school, but we started in a gym that has only a barbell and dumbbell and 2 benches and 1 lat pull. And that was it.
Okay, first off, Alex, wipe that grin off your face. Why are you always smiling on that?
He's loving life. You know what was missing from Frank's little blurb there? I bust out these old exercises, and the old school guys like, yeah, there you go. What, Frank? What are the exercises? Give us some examples.
I know.
That's nothing.
I love how the old is always better, but I see a lot of guys in the gym who are looking pretty. Some people in the gym now look pretty good. I think we've got some of it figured out, Frank. I don't think the old way is always the better way. And sometimes what is old is new again. Yes, there's some of that too. Science and discovery. And, you know what? That is a good way of doing something. That's just trial and error. But the idea that this nostalgic of the old way, but like I'm saying, today is the old way 50 years from now. So that's what I mean is you don't get a monopoly on knowledge because it was something or a way to be because it was that way 50 years ago. This romantic nostalgia of the past being better than now is actually an unhealthy way to live, again, because you're in the now. You actually can still be whatever you think you can be or should be now anyways. Be the 1950s now. If you think it's better to have a white picket fence in front of your yard, just build one.
Right. And that's the thing is, but now there's so much more education about things like weightlifting. So the old way wasn't the best way because now people are doing it better and safer and having greater results without, using steroids and stuff. Maybe this is the heyday in weightlifting and not back in the 60s.
I say there is a lot of people are going to the gym now. It's great. Like I'm not a gym guy, but I do try to, like I said, eat healthy, go for runs, I have a light little gym at home actually that I use and just to move my body. That's kind of how I look at it because one day I might be a grandparent and I'm actually working out to be a grandparent. And what I mean by that is I want to be able to bend over and do the diapers, help my kids out with, holding the baby. So I'm doing like light arm exercises and stuff just so my body doesn't atrophy in my later years here.
Exactly. Well, a good segue to this next part. He talks about lifting heavy in old age.
Oh, you get injured. I mean, I see guys there in their 50s doing 500-pound squats. I said one day it could go pop.
That's it. Yeah,
you're done. You could, it could be your lower back, your L5, and then you end up like me.
Yeah. What I find interesting here, though, is this is the thing about Frank. It's either you suck because you don't do anything, increase your weight. Then it's over here. How dare you do 500 squats at 50 or 500-pound squats at 50? Like he's never happy with anyone's success.
Right.
That's better than him. Then he talks down to the people that are below him. Frank is always just right.
And if your body can handle it, lifting heavier when you're older is good for your bones. You know your own body's limits. If your body's not going to pop after lifting 500 pounds in your 50s, then by all means, keep doing it.
Well, I've seen some gross gym fails, and I hate those.
Oh, so have I.
I hate those. I like don't. I'm always like I read the comments sometimes before I watch the video. Like, does anyone have? You're the gym guy.
Mm-hmm.
Why do some people's when they're doing those squats? Why do their knees buckle or break? Are they trying something new for the first time? Is that why? Because I thought you would be able to build up to that. Like, why does it break all of a sudden? When
you do like the leg press machine or squats, you're not supposed to lock your knees all the way out.
Okay, I can't. Okay, I'm done.
You know, but do you know what I'm saying?
I know I can't. I got you.
You're supposed to keep a slight bend in your knee, so it doesn't want to go the
locked their
opposite
bone.
way.
I see. So they've locked their bones. So your bone's like, hey, what are you doing? So it's like I've got to release the pressure somewhere, so that it goes
right. You know, perpetual motion. If you're going one way and you lock out, the motion wants to take it the other way. Right?
I can't handle that. Have you seen any personal gym injuries at the gym?
Nothing like that. No.
Good. Okay. Good.
No. All right. Country strong.
Oh,
being country strong.
Good.
Yeah.
Their own body.
We see these running backs like in football. They're just gifted. They started out when they were 7 years old. You look at some of these guys. They're just, they're so fast, and they're just. Some people are what they used to call in the old days country strong. Some people just genetically are very strong.
Yeah.
And their tendons, and they're built for it. Big legs,
So he's talking about running backs. Now this is Frank's stream of consciousness again, okay? So he's talking about running backs, and that leads him into the term country strong. So what does country strong mean to Frank? Black. He's black.
He always has black on his mind. He always does.
Yeah. Another example of this is that we
I think a lot
of these quarterbacks are big. Who's that quarterback for Dallas?
Prescott.
He's thick. He's not skinny.
Yeah,
he's thick.
The football players are different levels.
No, they're different.
A whole different class.
They have to be this way, otherwise they can't be picked.
No.
Now, right before that, when they were all talking over each other, you see Frank's not talking. It's really Alex and Tom talking. They're talking about Tom Brady.
Oh,
and then Frank brings up the black quarterback from the Cowboys, Dak Prescott.
Well, he wants to prove that he's not racist. Let me say something positive about a black person.
He's big. He's strong. He's big and strong. Some might say country strong.
He's naturally born that way.
Oh, man. All right. Let's go to it's Frank's advice for people that want to get into the business.
Oh, good. He better hope his son's not listening, because he does not want his son to be in the business. If you're tracking folks,
Frank, what's as we wrap? What's the? I want to know, because you're open. You're not afraid to speak your mind.
I love how he almost prides himself in this. Like, I've said this before. Being honest about your opinions doesn't make you a hero.
No, I know. I'm unabashedly honest.
Yeah, you're allowed to be tactful. There's no rule against being a gentleman or being tactful or being courteous. You don't always have to. I hate it when people are like, I'm just being honest. No, you're being a dick.
Right. Right.
You're being an honest dick. Let's say you showed me, I don't know, let's just say you showed me a painting that you did, and it was not a very good painting, but you really took some pride and you took some effort. Oh, Doug, that's not very good. I'm just being honest.
Right.
What does that do for you or for me? Even though I can claim honesty, but I can say, Doug, I can see you really worked hard on that.
Right, exactly. Right. You can do it without crushing people.
Yeah. So what do you have next to do? What's your next project? What did you feel when you made this? You turn it back on them. You don't have to say, oh, it sucks.
Right.
I'm just being honest. Okay.
When it comes to people coming out here to get in the business, entertainment business, what's your brutal truth about it to people who want to come out here?
Oh, brutal truth.
And get into
entertainment business. What's your brutal truth?
Sorry, I just love how he's gearing up. You know, he's kind of shifting the seats, clearing his throat. Okay, here we go, folks.
Here it comes. So, brutally honest.
What I love is, no offense to Tommy, we have no views on our channel, so I'm not slighting Tommy. But Tommy at this time only had like 190 views of this video. So who's Frank talking to in this mode? Do you think there's some would-be actor listening for Frank? This is what I'm getting at. It's old man yelling at cloud. Because do you think some up-and-coming actor, some 18-year-old kid who's in Arkansas right now, I'm going to go to Hollywood and see what Frank has to say about the business. Okay, here we go, kid in Arkansas. Here's what Frank has to say.
I tell him don't. Because
All right, unpack your bags, buddy. Go back to college. Wow. Sorry.
I need the advice of somebody that's been there and done that. What do you got for me, Frank? Don't.
Does he go on? I just couldn't believe he said that.
He
Okay,
does.
yeah.
I mean, it's more of his, rehashing the old shit and being bitter.
Oh.
I also have a note here that says it said it's a good spot to pick up people who have killed themselves for their parts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've lost so many acting parts. I went in realizing that they basically knew who they wanted in mind.
Yeah, not you. I'm not a singer. I can't sing. So it doesn't matter, Doug, how many Broadway auditions I attend. I'm going to be denied no matter my passion, no matter how popular my brother is on Broadway. I can't sing. The reality is you have to say to yourself, if I keep getting denied at all these auditions, as you just said, maybe you just can't act and nobody wants you. There's no shame in that. You're not an actor. Part of success actually is knowing what you can and can't do and then, fleshing that out. It's actually honing your skills. If you don't have a skill, maybe you shouldn't hone that and focus on something that you have been naturally been gifted.
They have the auditions anyway. I didn't go home and go, oh my God. I mean, people killed themselves out here. They've jumped off Hollywood signs. They have. They committed suicide for a part.
Okay.
I don't know that.
No, can you name one actor who killed himself for a part? It's a kind of weird flex here. He's saying, I've been denied 100 times, yet I haven't jumped. He's mentioned twice now, jumping off the Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
I don't know. One day we might get that news. Frank Stallone jumping off a Hollywood sign, but it's a weird flex. He's kind of saying, I have been denied numerous times, yet here I stand.
I got a name Benicio del Toro name drop. I don't think we do that.
This business could be pretty vile. I mean, the like my friend Benicio del Toro. You know why he does well? Because you never see him.
You don't see him,
He does his movies, and he stays in his own lane. He's very quiet, and he's just a wonderful person and a great actor.
It's literally all the opposite of what Frank is. It's like, you know why Benicio Tell is so successful? He doesn't have an Instagram. He doesn't post he's not on these stupid podcasts, and he's a good actor. Why am I not successful, everybody? You literally listed the same reasons why Benicio del Toro is successful as he's not. That's funny.
But we got a Tulsa King season 3 preview.
Oh, nice. I'm not just saying because I'm a Sly fan. It's actually legitimately, it is a very good show. And I'm looking forward to season 3. So I'm looking forward to Frank's premiere or preview. Sweet.
I mean, our brother at 78 to have a hit series, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And if you never watched it, watch Tulsa. The second season is intense.
Yeah.
Second season's intense.
The third one's even get more intense.
I can't wait
I wish
for
he'd
that.
put me on there. I'd just come as an outlaw.
Oh, subtle drop.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't really a preview. Maybe it was him just going, I want to be on that season.
I would just be an outlaw. Oh, what does that mean? Has he seen the show? There's really no outlaws. This is a Tombstone. He's still stuck on Tombstone.
It's a Western from 1860.
Stabbing people in the eye with a fork, when they're eating on camera, you'd be perfect.
I agree.
You'd be perfect.
Yeah, be one of the guys like, now listen, son, I want to tell you something.
That's it.
Oh my. And you wonder why you're not winning auditions.
No, that was his audition right there. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something studied for our listeners. He went and fake stabbed Alex under the chin with a dinner fork. Sly, if you're watching, I think Frank just gave you a great kill scene in the show. Again,
really.
He's talking like none of the characters talk on the show. Have you seen the show, Frank? There might be a reason why your brother's not calling you. You're completely
He doesn't even watch it.
I'd recommend watching the show first.
Yeah, I mean, I always love playing bad guys from Tombstone, Ed Bailey, and Barfly.
Okay, stop rubbing your mouth. Why is his mouth perpetually
so many
rubbing?
mouth noises?
If I had enough time and energy, I would have done a super cut of mouth noises.
Yeah,
and the coughing throughout this episode.
But
again, he's talking about, and I'm good at playing the tougher bad guy from the two films that are decent. The Tombstone's an amazing film that he happens to be in, and Barfly was a film that he starred in that happens to be decent. So
let me ask you a question: if Frank wasn't in Tombstone, would it have still been a great movie?
Oh, it probably would have been better.
Imagine that.
They could have gotten anyone to play that role. Again, he played a 3 minute, maybe 3 minutes of screen time. Maybe. That's being generous. Being killed by Doc Holliday over a poker game at the beginning of the film.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And anyone could have played that role. The fact that Frank got it just shows you where he's at within the echelons of acting. Meaning they're like, oh, sure, Frank, you want to be in this, put a mustache on, a hat on you. No one will even recognize you. And that's probably for the better, because we don't want people to be distracted that we're killing Frank Stallone on screen. Because you'll have people in the audience going, hey, that's Sly's brother. Like, that takes away from the movie, ironically.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, you have a greater width. When you're playing a bad guy, you can kind of go, like Lee Marvin, you can go off the rafters.
Right.
When you're playing a good guy, in a lot of ways, you have to stay in a parameter, or unless you're a good bad guy.
What the hell are you talking about? It doesn't make sense.
I don't know if he's...
The Joker is a great example. Yeah, the reason why the Joker is so much fun to play is because it's the Joker. I get it.
He's an
but it's like
person.
But yeah, and Batman has to be Batman. I understand. But all good writing, Batman's still interesting.
Right.
Superman is just as interesting to me as Lex Luthor, if written correctly. It's got nothing to do with... It's fun to play a bad guy. Yes, that's what I would say. It's probably just fun to be something you're not. So obviously, for example, Anthony Hopkins playing Hannibal Lecter. Obviously, Anthony Hopkins is not a serial killer that eats people's flesh, but I bet you it was a blast to pretend to be one.
Sure.
And that's what he's probably trying to say, is that you get to really be something you're not. Whereas if you play a cop or a lawyer, if I played a lawyer on TV, even though I'm not a lawyer, I could identify with, upholding the law as a cop or as a DA. Yeah, I'm morally like to think I'm a good person. So I don't have to really pretend to be good. Where I like to think I'm good. But if they say, hey, Ryan, would you like to be the serial killer on this season of TV? You'd be like, you know what? That'd be kind of fun.
So he's saying that he's a great actor because he can play those bad guys and really step outside of the person that he truly is.
Well, maybe I just hit the nail on the head.
I know.
He's been method acting his whole life.
Like Clint Eastwood and Dirty Harry. You're a good guy, but you're a bad guy. Or James Cagney, you're a good guy and a bad guy, but but to be...
They're called amoral characters.
Or anti-heroes.
Yeah, that's nothing new. But
Walter White, yeah.
Sure, yeah. You're rooting for the quote-unquote bad guy, even though they're not somebody you'd want to be in real life, sure.
The really good guy, like a Ryan Gosling, good actor, but he plays mostly pretty good guys.
Right.
I'm sure.
What? I love how he just like arbitrary. Ryan, he's a good actor.
Pretty good actor.
Pretty good, just an A-list actor who like every movie he's in is usually elevated with his presence. Like,
Sure, he could do a lot more. But when you're the bad guy, like Rutger Hauer and stuff like that, you
quintessential
can do,
bad guy.
You know what I mean? You can do a lot like Clinton, like Lee Marvin, people like that. They can always be like...
There are certain actors, they seem to play the heavies or the bad guys because, again, that's their niche, or niche, whatever the word is.
Or they have a look or whatever the case is.
There's just a lot more color to it,
What he's saying here is the two big movies he's been in, Barfly and Tombstone, he wasn't a good person necessarily. So he's trying to showcase, look, I'm in the same echelon as Clint Eastwood and Lee Marvin. All these, like, that's me. We're all in the same class of actors,
Just a couple of bad guys acting together, Frank makes a hint about whether or not he may or be on TikTok.
Oh, fantastic. Remember he started his YouTube channel? Because he did that one video about the Mike Tyson fight that got like 16,000 or 20,000 views. So he thought he had something. So he rebranded the name's channel to like Frank Stallone Boxing Tips or whatever. And then it just dive bombed again and no one's watching it. Honestly, without even listening to this clip yet, he's trying to be discovered.
Well, first he has a hard stance against it.
Okay.
For me.
Text
TikTok.
Instead of TikTok. I'm not even on TikTok. Everyone says go on TikTok. I said, nah.
I think he'd be good on TikTok, though.
But
I think he could put out some
scary?
good stuff on TikTok, I think. Just with your personality, I think you'd do well on TikTok.
Maybe I'll try it.
But how quickly he flip-flopped. Once Tom says, you'd be great on TikTok, he's like, yeah, maybe I'll try it.
What would he do?
His Instagram reels.
That's right. What it would be is he would just put nothing wrong with this, but whatever he does on Instagram, he'll just put on TikTok is all it is.
Yeah, basically.
You want to be discovered, Frank? This is what you need to do. Stop trying to be something you're not. Lean into the fact that you're Frank Stallone. If he leaned into it, and became the parody of himself on TikTok and on his Instagram, then we could laugh with him.
Right.
And this show would go in the gutter more than it already is. We would have nothing to talk about.
I know. If he actually started having some fun with it, right, he would take all of our material away.
He could actually do like parody videos of himself going to the demos and be like, "Oh, you're that Stallone," stuff like that.
Yeah. He almost had it with the title of his documentary.
But that was it. The title was the only thing. The rest of the documentary was self-serving and important. And look at me, and I'm I should be bigger than I am. But he didn't lean into it in the documentary.
No, I know. Alex wants to do a project in Dubai.
Oh,
In Dubai?
Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Riyadh.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know.
That's why I'm trying to. We're gonna do a project there, hopefully. So this is something.
Will you be wearing a burqa?
No, he doesn't.
oh, jeez.
It keeps going.
Okay, Frank, what's that? What? Okay. Well, number one, he's a guy, so he's okay.
There's some uncomfortable laughter by Alex too.
Oh, is Alex surprised though?
Probably not.
Turban, like
No, he already no. It's just like
chic Alex
having a.
And this is probably close to where Alex was born and raised.
I know we announced it. He mentioned it. I just forget, but it is one of those neighboring countries in that area. You're right, Middle East. Yeah.
Come on, my friend, like with the whole outfit.
Wait, go back.
Yeah, I gotta go back. There's just too much gold here.
Every racist drop, you got to stop it. I know.
No, it's just like
chic Alex
having a.
Come on, my friend, like with the whole outfit.
Yeah. So having more presence.
Jim
in
was
your...
called Shake Alex.
What?
Well, that'd be good for you.
What if I come with a Rolls Royce? That would be.
There's all protein shakes.
Protein shakes.
There you go. See,
There you
protein
go.
shakes.
Just will not let Alex get out his plug. Alex is trying to talk about his project, and Frank just hammers him with racist comment after racist comment.
It's that generation, Doug. They just can't fathom that other people exist outside of their race and color. It's just they have a hard time fathoming that there's a world outside of white America.
It's insane, isn't it?
You're right, though. He isn't letting Alex plug. The only thing Frank plugs is his head. We know this. What's your next thing you got there?
What's next for you, Frank?
What's the next big one you're chasing right now?
Getting really back to health, getting my health back. I mean, I've had a few setbacks, and I think the most important thing is just gratitude and happiness. I mean,
I love how his next big gig is just staying alive. Ironically, he's staying alive. It's staying alive.
It's all come full circle. His next big thing is gratitude and being happy for what you have. It's next because he doesn't have that yet.
That's true too. But it's almost kind of sad. It's like, I'm at 74. I'm still waiting to get discovered, maybe on TikTok. Tommy, what he's asking is, what's next? Concert tour, TV show. And Frank's like defeated. It's like, well, at this point, just not die.
Get back to health.
Not jump off the Hollywood sign.
Oh, Jesus. A quote in this clip is, "I'm not materialistic." I don't know where that fits in though, so you can keep it.
Is it coming up still, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Even before I hear it, I'm guessing he's comparing himself to Sly, who has mansions, cars, money. But when you don't have those things, isn't it great at the same time? I'm poor and I happen to not like things, so I'm good.
Right. Oh yeah.
I don't like Rolls Royces, Doug. So it's a good thing I can't afford them. Because I also don't like them.
Someone asked once, if you were the richest man in the world or the happiest man, I said I'd take the happiest man in the world because he is the richest man in the world. Because people would be dumbfounded. Go,
So he's poor both ways.
Yeah, he's not rich nor happy. He's
poor guy.
He's neither.
Oh, that's sad. I know some of our listeners don't have spouses or children, but you have a wife and kids. I have a wife and kids. There's some truth to that, and that my joy from life is my family, my children. If we had Christmas, guess what my wife and I bought for each other? I'm just saying, not bragging, nothing. We actually don't buy gifts for each other. It's all for the kids, and seeing them open the gifts and being excited about the tree and sand, all those things. That's joy. You can't buy that shite. You're right. You can't buy that. So in that sense, I am rich with the joy of my family. He's right about that statement. The joy comes from those things. It's the spirit of things.
He's always happy, and you can't buy that.
Right.
You know, so a lot of the richest people in the world are the most miserable, unhappy people in the world.
Oh boy. That's actually not true either. Hey, look, I would love to have $500 million and have Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, and my kids. Like, you're doubly rich. There are rich family men and women who appreciate their children's happiness. So you can actually have both. But the idea that rich people aren't happy is not true either.
Wealth and happiness are mutually exclusive from one another. Like, one does not have something to do with the other. You can be rich and unhappy. You can be happy and poor.
Yes.
You can be both.
Yes.
It's not mutually exclusive, Frank. So he's saying that wealth equals unhappiness.
He's going to throw his brother on the bus again.
Yeah, it's another.
His brother has beautiful daughters, beautiful wife. I think Sly's pretty happy. I think he's doing okay.
Would take happiness, peace of mind, and health over all the tea in China.
Okay,
mission succeeded, I guess.
Well, you got your health, Frank.
You got your health. He does have his health. For 75 or 74-year-old man going on to 75, he's doing okay. So he's got that.
What's your biggest life lesson to Frank?
Oh, wow. Really? That was asked? That's a great question, Tommy.
With a contradiction built in there.
Oh, okay.
I think my life lessons, I think you should never lose your trust in your fellow man, but you have to have the blueprint of your life, what you want. This is what I want to have happen. And you have a lot of naysayers come in. Oh, you can't. No. So I think that's life lessons I learned. I put too much trust in people that gave me a lot of lip service when I should have always go by your gut instinct.
Wait, all right. So I saw your face. What was his life lesson? Life lesson part A is trust people. Life lesson part B is I put too much trust into people.
Yeah. In typical Frank fashion, he was a little bit all over the place. Like you said, self-contradicting himself.
Mm-hmm.
Trust people that don't trust people. Have a blueprint in your life of what you want, but then you're going to get a lot of naysayers coming at you saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. Then you turn to them as he did and goes, no. I'm not going to listen to you. So which one is he? Is he not listening to the naysayers, but he's trusting the people that he trusted with his blueprint, but they were wrong? But the naysayers weren't the people that he trusted. They were people probably who were telling him those naysayers are telling you the wrong information. They were probably correct. Saying, what is it, Frank? It's so confusing.
That was exactly my note. I said, which one is it, Frank?
Oh, God. Was that the last one?
My last one. Okay. Is Frank on TikTok again?
Oh, he's got his shades on too for this. He put his glasses on for the last part of the interview.
And then I say, okay, Grandpa. I don't know what this means.
Okay, let's find out.
And what is my...
Hopefully on TikTok. We'll be on TikTok soon.
I'll be on TikTok. My brother keeps telling me, you gotta get on TikTok. Can't you send me your TikTok?
Yeah. We gotta do some funny jokes on TikTok.
Yeah. The two of y'all together would be great.
We'll try. It's something.
Is that it?
I guess. I don't know.
I love how Alex is like, we'll try. We'll do some funny stuff. Alex kind of gets it. I think if he watched our show, he might agree with us that Frank has to let himself be like the whole like, chic Alex stuff. Put the stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, you get ready to go to Dubai, and then you have Alex come around wearing a turban. Or better yet, Frank could say, "I did you a favor. I packed for your trip for Dubai." And Alex is like, "Oh, thank you, Frank, for doing that for me." And then, meanwhile, in Dubai, Alex opens up his luggage. He pulls out a burqa. He pulls out a turban. See what I mean? That would be the TikTok.
There's comedy there. Yes.
Frank packs for Alex for Dubai, and he pulls out all these stereotypes: an assault rifle, or a long curved Aladdin sword.
Yeah, all the stereotypical stuff.
Because Frank packed his luggage. There we go. We just did your first hilarious TikTok video. Oh, that's man. Funny. What do we know? My blueprint sucks. Okay.
Yeah. You trust too many people.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this. We hope everyone has a great 2025. We hope Frank is with us for the year. Hopefully, it's also not a month to the next one because like I said, I haven't looked at his Instagram, so who knows what's been piling up there, Doug. So we're gonna have to do that maybe the next episode. So
yeah, we got to get on it.
Yeah. All right, Doug. As always, a pleasure. You're killing it. I appreciate you coming on and doing this with me, and we'll see everybody on the next episode.
That concludes another episode of Frank Stallone. Who is this guy?